What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, try and work our way up through the ranks, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014. We're currently still in the F1 2010 season on round 11. At the moment, if we look at the standings, we are in P8, which is pretty good. 57 points on board for the season, which is absolutely amazing, thanks to a win in Canada, a 4th place in Valencia, and 2 5th places, I believe, in Australia and China. So we've had a pretty decent season. Last time around at the British Grand Prix, it wasn't a very good one, very disappointing there. We actually got a really good qualifying session up into P11, but unfortunately we just didn't have any race pace and was way down at the back of the field thanks to the pit stop phase. So unfortunately we lost ground on Jenson Button. We moved down into P8, which unfortunately kind of solidifies us into a Lotus spot at the moment. But we need to try and get Vitaly Petrov, get that P6, and try and get Williams' seat for F1 2011. But for now, we head over to the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim, and let's see what we can do in today's race. Okay, then we have a performance test for today's German Grand Prix, and it is beat the target time within 6 laps, a 1:30.348. Shouldn't be too hard. Let's try and beat it on the first time of asking. Right, here we go then through the final corner to start our performance lap. We need to be at 1:30.348. This is also our first time driving on the Hockenheim ring on F1 2010 for a very long time, and we've run it wide on the first corner. Not exactly the best of starts, but you know, it's not too bad. We gained a little bit of time through there, so just don't tell anyone. Right, so far so good on this lap through the final 2 corners now. Foot down all the way to the end, down towards the line. It's going to be able to beat the time, but will it beat Lucas di Grassi? Yes, it does. By 2 whole seconds, we beat Lucas di Grassi. Absolutely love that. A 1:21. We've beaten the performance test. So let's head back to the garage and see what Jeff has to say about that one. P15. P15 in that session. That is pretty darn decent. P15 in practice, beating all of the back markers. Both Williams, both Toro Rossos, but we need to try and beat both Force Indias if we want to stay ahead of them in the championship, and maybe try and gain a bit of time as well if we'd like to get some points in today's race. So let's head over to the qualifying session. Right then, just like the British Grand Prix, on a one-shot qualifying lap, it's raining out on circuit, but the team do think it's good enough for dry tyres, so we're going to trust the team, and hopefully their knowledge of the track is right, and the dry tyres don't seem too bad. As we go down in towards turn 2, no, it seems alright. The dry tyres seem to be working okay, but we'll wait and see how it progresses through the rest of the lap. Right, down into the hairpin now. This is going to be a huge test for the car. How does it feel? A big bit of understeer through that corner. That's not good. But seems like we're still okay. Still seems like we're setting a good time. Here we go then. Last couple of corners of the lap. What is this lap time going to be good enough for? We may go out for one more lap at the end of the session, because it looks like the track is actually drying off. Looks like the rain has stopped or slowing down out on track. So 1:19.801. Pretty decent lap here today. Run it wide into the final corner, into the first corner. Doesn't really matter too much. I'm heading back to the garage anyway, and let's see whereabouts that lap time puts us. We're ahead of Jenson Button at the moment. We could be on for a really, really decent result. Wow. 6th position in qualifying for the German Grand Prix. I'm pretty sure we had a good qualifying session last time around when we did Rags to Riches in F1 2010. But 6th place. 6th place in qualifying today. I feel like the track did dry out. As you can see in the background, the track definitely did dry out. So the fact that we set that lap time at the start of the session when there was still rain on the track, and it dried out throughout the session, and we were only in 6th place, we could be on for a really, really good result in the German Grand Prix if we can hold on in the race. We struggled last time at the British Grand Prix, I know that, but we are hoping today we can do something different. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole 1/10 ahead of his teammate Jenson Button, with Mark Webber 3/10 behind. Then Sebastian Vettel is in 4th, and it's Nico Rosberg just ahead of me. We are in P6, and my teammate is way down the back of the field in 24th, so not a good result there for Lucas di Grassi. But without any further ado, let's see if we can convert this 6th place into points as we head over to the race for the German Grand Prix. It's race day here at the German Grand Prix. It's full wet conditions, but it says there's only a 31% chance of rain, which seems like the rain could be easing off over the rest of the weekend. Looking at the race strategy for today, starting on the wet, I don't think... Okay, we are making... No, we're not making any pit stops. We're taking these wet tyres till the end of the moment, but... if we have to pit for the intermediates, there is going to be a pit stop there. And I'm not too sure when about to come into the pits for intermediate tyres. I've never done this on this game, on this run through of the Rags to Riches sequel. I may have done it in the first one, but I'm not too sure. So, yeah, if it does turn into intermediate tyres, we're just going to have to wait and see what the other drivers around us are doing. But P6 on the grid, pretty decent start. Let's see how we fare in wet conditions as we head down to the track for the German Grand Prix. So, here is Lewis Hamilton lining up in pole position. Jenson Button alongside him in second, making it a McLaren 1-2. Myself lining up in sixth, a really good qualifying session for me, whereas Lucas de Grassi didn't really have a good qualifying session. He's way down at the back of the field. But this is the first time, I believe, in this time of the Rags to Riches sequel, running in a full wet race. But here we go. It's 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go for the German Grand Prix. It's a good start compared to Sebastian Vettel, but how are we going to fare down in towards turn 1? Braking very late compared to the other drivers. Going into the back of Mark Webber and Jenson Button, but no damage to my front wing. We're up into P4. Good start so far in the German Grand Prix. I cannot see my brake marker boards at all at the moment, but we have eased up the inside of Jenson Button in towards turn 2. Turn 3 now, side by side with JB. What are we going to do here? Switch over to the left-hand side. He's made a bit of a mistake, a huge mistake. And there we go, up into P3, onto the podium so far in the German Grand Prix. Catching up to Mark Webber now. The rain and the spray is really starting to hurt in this race. I'm going to brake early into the hairpin. Maybe not early enough, but we go around the outside of Mark Webber. It's looking like a decent move. I've been tagged. Have I been tagged, or did I just lose the back end? I'm not too sure. There's an almighty pile-up down in towards the hairpin. Let's have a look at a replay of that. Was it my fault that caused it? Did I lose the back end, or did I get tagged by one of the... No, I just lost the back end. Through the wet conditions, I just aquaplaned. My car spun, and unfortunately for Jenson Button, he got caught up in that. A few other drivers got caught up as well. And, yeah, Nico Rosberg is lucky enough to get through that okay with no problems at all. But disappointing so far in this German Grand Prix that I kind of have caused a huge almighty collision down in towards the hairpin. But we're still in P3. Mark Webber goes around the outside. Lewis Hamilton, the battle for the lead here. It looks like he's got it. Nice move there from Mark Webber around the outside of the left-hander, then kept the inside for the right-hander. And now I'm not too sure where I'm going to be braking in towards this corner. Just hold it, hold it. I cannot see a ruddy thing right now, but I'm switching over to the inside. Up the inside, Lewis Hamilton. Can I make the move stick? I'm going to try it on Lewis Hamilton. Here we go. He's got the outside line. Side by side between myself and Lewis. Mark Webber going very slowly through these next couple of corners. I've dived up the inside of the Red Bull driver. Can we do anything? Not quite yet. Lewis Hamilton still my outside. We get the inside line into the final corner. Yellow flag. Can I be allowed to overtake? I'm not too sure. I don't think the yellow flags are for us, as I've got Mark Webber now on my outside. We've got the inside line down towards turn 1, and we kept it on the black stuff. There we go. What a move for the lead there. Up the inside of Mark Webber and up into the lead of the German Grand Prix. So far, so good in this race, but can we hold on to it? That was just time will tell. Time will tell for that, whether Mark Webber and Lewis Hamilton had a slow opening lap. But in all this excitement, I'm really struggling to get my words out. What a race this start this has been. From a collision down to the hairpin to now leading this German Grand Prix. But we're going to brake early into the hairpin. Make sure that we get the job done this time. Try not to lose the back end. Don't put the power down till we're through the corner. And there we go. On our way once again. Looks like a nice little gap's forming there to Mark Webber and Lewis Hamilton behind me. Quite a good little gap, in fact. As we just take this corner nice and easy. I hate this corner on this game. Really struggled there in practice and qualifying, but got through it okay this time. In towards the long banked corner. I love this corner. This is a nice one. But we are forming a nice little gap at the moment to Mark Webber and Lewis Hamilton. Not too sure whenabouts it's going to dry up. Obviously, Jeff will tell me if we are on the wrong tyre. But we'll get a good indicator of when the other drivers come into the pits as well. Okay then, situation report as we start the 4th lap of this German Grand Prix. The heavy rain is still with us as we go down in towards turn 1. That was nice through turn 1. The gap to Mark Webber, though, nearly 4 seconds, whereas Lewis Hamilton is 7 seconds behind us. So what a race we are having at this German Grand Prix. We could be on for our 2nd race win in the Rags to Riches sequel, doing so much better compared to what we did in the first time round. But we need to keep hold of it. We need to keep hold of this race win. We need to pit at the right time if it does go to intermediate tyres. We're not too sure on that at the moment. We're just going to have to wait and see how this race pans out.
The track's very wet. Take it easy.
Thank you, Jeff. I realised that the track was very wet, so I didn't really need you to tell me that. But the gap to Mark Webber now 5 seconds. We are 5 seconds clear of Mark Webber in this German Grand Prix. What on earth is happening? What on earth is happening? Looks like we want more wet races. I want some more wet races in this game because we seem to be very good in the full wet conditions. Right then, starting lap 7 here at the German Grand Prix. Still leading this race by, again, still a huge margin over Mark Webber. He hasn't even come across the line yet. 7.4 seconds. That is the gap to Mark Webber. We are absolutely killing this German Grand Prix. We're settling down. You know, we led from the start. Well, we didn't lead from the start. We started in P6. We managed to work our way up into the lead. And now we've just been comfortable. We've been nice and comfortable at the start. So what a drive this has been for myself. We've been nice and comfortable. And we are leading this race by 7.3 seconds. You can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong with that. The fact that I could probably come in for a set of new full wet tyres and then be able to work my way back up into the lead of the race is pretty... Okay, that was not a good line through there. But it's still pretty incredible that I could probably come into the pits for a new set of full wet tyres and then probably overtake the rest of the field once again and get back up into the lead. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to risk my lead right now, but still, pretty darn incredible that I've got this 7.5 second gap to Mark Webber at this stage of the race. Right, I'm not too sure whether it's just me, but I feel like these tyres are now starting to lose grip. I'm not too sure whether that means, you know, we've got to come into the pits for a set of intermediate tyres. I don't think it does. I just feel like maybe these wet tyres are now starting to wear out a bit. Because I could take that corner flat out and I can't do that now. So, not too sure whether it's time for inters or just these tyres are a bit worn out. We have to wait and see as this race progresses. But, lap 9 out of 13, not long to go now. So we can certainly still hold out on these wet tyres. I mean, we're still getting away from Mark Webber. 8.3 seconds is the gap right now. So, pretty decent. We need to hold on to this lead. Okay, looks like our problems are now solved as we've gone and set the fastest lap of the race. So, not too sure why we were so slow in those recent couple of laps. But a 1:27.3, I'm pretty sure, is now the fastest lap of the race. But not 100%. 9.5 seconds back is Mark Webber. We are killing it. We are absolutely killing this race.
With the track this wet, you're going to lose a lot of grip. Just take it easy.
Thank you, Jeff. I mean, it's not only like 11 laps in, so that call might be a little bit too late. But, I mean, I welcome it. I welcome the advice. Despite winning this race at the moment. 10 seconds to Mark Webber. We've got a bloody 10-second lead over Mark Webber in a Virgin racing car. Wow. Just... wow. I mean, the concentration right now is unreal. Because if I make one simple mistake, that could be it for me. But, you know, still, it's just absolutely incredible right now. Here we go then, round the final corner to start the final lap of this German Grand Prix and setting a, wow, 125. Fastest man on the circuit right now. 125.282. That's incredible. It's definitely drying out at the moment then. But let's see what we can do in this final lap of the race. We've got a 10.7 lead over Mark Webber. One mistake, he could catch up. But let's just keep it clean on this final lap. 2 tenths faster in Sector 1. This is just incredible. I'm absolutely loving this at the moment. Through the left, and then the right. Flat out through there. In towards the stadium section now for the final. We're still faster. Despite making that mistake into the hairpin, we're still faster. That just shows you how much this track is drying out right now. In towards the bank curve. Come on. Last couple of corners now. 11.5 seconds. That's the lead that we have over Mark Webber. 2 corners left to go in this race. And we will get our second race win in the Rags to Riches sequel. Round the final corner. Down towards the line. Weaving in celebration. We have won the German Grand Prix. We have won 2 races now in this season. 6th on the grid. And what a result.
Amazing. Brilliant result, mate. Nobody expected that. Well done.
Jeff going absolutely crazy on the radio, and that is no surprise. We have won by 9.9 seconds over Mark Webber. What a result. What an incredible result here today in the Rags to Riches season. Our second race win in F1 2010, driving for the Virgin Racing team. I did not expect that coming in. I expected the best result that we could possibly get coming into this season was maybe about an 8th or something like that based on what happened in F1 2010. And then we go and get 5th place in Australia, 5th place in China, a win in Canada, 4th in Valencia, And now another win. Our second race win of the season here in Germany. The full wet conditions definitely help us in this season. I mean, we started from 6th. We had a great start. Webber and Hamilton battling each other on the first lap, but we were faster than them at the end of the day. And we picked our opportunities. We got the overtakes done, and we moved up into the lead of the race. But there we go, going through the final classification of today's race. I win today with Mark Webber in 2nd and Lewis Hamilton joining us on the podium. Then Sebastian Vettel in 4th, Fernando Alonso 5th, Kamui Kobayashi in 6th, Michael Schumacher 7th, Nico Rosberg 8th, Kamui Kobayashi 9th, and Jenson Button rounding out the top 10. Looking further down the field, Felipe Massa not scoring any points today. Neither did Vitaly Petrov, which is really good news. That should mean we should jump him in the championship. Anybody else? Any other surprises? Not really. And Lucas Di Grassi way down in 21st. Rubens Barrichello got disqualified. Not too sure what on earth happened there, but Rubens Barrichello disqualified from today's race. Let's have a look then. The change in the driver's standings thanks to that second win of the season. And we're up into 6th. Getting into that Williams spot. What a result today was. 12 points clear now of Vitaly Petrov. We are only 4 points behind Nico Rosberg. We've got quite a way still left to go to catch up to Mark Webber to try and get that Force India seat for the season. But we can still do it. Looking at the entire driver standings, and Lewis Hamilton is leading the way to Sebastian Vettel 5 points. That's quite interesting to see. But 4 points at the moment separating Nico Rosberg. We're just going to take every single rival as it comes. And up next, we're going to try and get Nico Rosberg. But 12 points back to Vitaly Petrov and 14 points back to Jenson Button. We are looking very good at the moment in this season. Look at the constructors now. Still in 6th place, holding on to that position. And we have got a huge lead now over the Force India team. But there is still a long way left to go. We're only at round 11. We have still got 7 or 8 races. 8 races left to go in this season. So there are still a lot of chances for Force India and the other guys behind us to catch up. But that is it for this amazing German Grand Prix. Our second win of the season. Let's head back to the menus. Okay, then interview time for the German Grand Prix, sitting next to Lewis Hamilton and Mark Webber. What an amazing day today has been, winning the German Grand Prix. And as I've just managed to get my voice back, I can hear it going once again. But let's get into this interview. So, have you thought about winning the title? We're just taking it one race at a time. I'll certainly push hard to make it a reality. The team are going to have to work hard. We're just taking it one race at a time. I mean, I don't think I'm going to win the driver's title. But you know, if we get more race wins like this, we have more days like today, then it could certainly be a reality. So we're just taking at the moment one race at a time. You must be delighted with your weekend's work. A great joint effort. It's been a very strong season, a very strong weekend for us. It's fair to say I did a fantastic job. I mean, to be fair, it's not really just the car. I did do a great job in today's race. I mean, just look at the gap. 9.9 seconds to Mark Webber in a Virgin racing car. Looking at where Lucas Di Grassi is, it's not just the team. So it's fair to say I did do a really good job today. Have you agreed a drive for next season? No, because I don't actually know where I am. Hopefully, we can get a Williams seat. That's where we are at the moment. But at the moment, you know, it could be a Lotus. It could either be a Williams or a Lotus, or it could be a Force India. If we get more races like today, we could certainly try and challenge for a Force India seat. But we are close. We are close to getting a race seat. It will be decided just before the end of the season or at the end of the season. So just watch this space. I know Virgin Racing have put an offer for me. We found that out last time at the British Grand Prix. But I'm not going to accept or decline the offer yet because, you know, we have got other options open to us. But let's have a look at the race standings before we end today's episode. 6th place in the championship. That means it is a Williams seat for next season. Now, can we hold on to that? Only time will tell. We've got to find out over the next 8 races of this season. But there's still a long way left to go. Still a lot of points left to gain. Still a lot of points left to lose. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this season pans out. But up next is, of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix. We don't tend to do well at this circuit, but I'll be hoping to change that this time around. So just watch this space. But that is it, though, for today's German Grand Prix. Our second race win of the season. What an amazing result. What an amazing result for the Virgin Racing team to get our second race of the season. It's just absolutely incredible. So don't forget to smash a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Share this video with your friends. And I will see you next time at the Hungarian Grand Prix for round 12 of the Rags to Riches sequel. But until then, it's goodbye from me.